Me, Zaphod Beeblebrox, the British Tech Guru. Um, a lot of people have been saying, no, you know, I live in South Carolina. They have just made the state open carry, so anybody can carry a gun. Anybody that can carry a gun can carry a gun. Well, let's put it another way: if you're not banned from owning them, you can happily waltz about with a gun strapped to your hip or under your jacket. And there are several things about that. And yes, it's constitutional rights. Am I in favour of it? I don't know. So far, in the 10 days or so that it's been going, I have seen none of the predicted mass shootings. And in fact, going about my normal daily business, I have seen nobody with a gun on their hip. I have seen nobody walking around with carbines or rifles or anything. It's kind of disappointing, to be honest. I wanted to see lots of people with 6 guns on their hips doing the high noon duel in the streets. But no, it's not quite as cowboy as that. Speaking of which, I think Cowboys and Indians have been pretty well banned. That was a game we all used to play when I was small. But I think it's been banned by the PC mob. Despite the fact it's all fictional fun. The world seems to be going very, very weird at the moment. And half the world seems to be anti-gun, half the world seems to be pro-gun. And the gun is just a tool. It's just a thing. The problem is deeper than that. Much deeper. And the problem is, why do people want to kick the living daylights out of each other? That is the problem. And what I will suggest is that it is not anything to do with access to weapons or anything like that, because everybody has access to a baseball bat, a golf club, a kitchen knife. No. And everybody can get hold of a piece of 2x4 or even a sock and a rock. Yes. Or even a piece of string. Or as the old style rapists always used to do, lady stocking. Anyway, the problem is why people want to kick the living daylights out of each other. Now that's allied to the problems on social media. Unhappy people wanting to pee on other people's sunshine. And why are all these people so unhappy? That is the root cause of the problem. People's unhappiness. And you can say, yes, go out and get a job and you'll be happy. No. Get a job that pays a reasonable amount of money and you'll be happy. Those people that take these jobs at minimum wage slop shops, serving slop to unsuspecting customers, that is misery in itself, because, and the problem is, it's exploitation from all sides. These are the people that find it hardest to get work, so they will put up with mistreatment and abuse. And the kind of employers that will pay minimum wage are exploiting several things. They're exploiting their worker because they know their worker is going to have to put up with everything they throw at them, because their worker is not going to complain, and if they do, they get fired, which means then that they go to the welfare office and they say, oh, I got fired, and they'll say, oh, sorry, no welfare for you. No, those employers, and that is not just the only problem. Those employers are paying those minimum wages because they know full well that the employee wages will be topped up from Social Security. They will be topped up in the form of food stamps, in the form of rent support, and so on. So the employer is the one that's exploiting the welfare budget. The nastier people will go and say, "Oh, you only get paid what you're worth." No, these people are not working for what they're worth. They're worth far more. The problem is they're being forced into these miserable sub-minimum wage jobs. I say sub-minimum for a reason, because they're being forced into them because they're having difficulty getting another job. And of course the trap is, once they're doing these nasty, miserable jobs, they're stuck in them. And it's going to take an earthquake to get them out. It's going to take somebody recognizing their potential. And of course, nobody's going to interview somebody who's been working in a muck job for a real job, because they'll say, oh, muck job, doesn't need a real job. He's a muck job worker. Okay. So, and this is why this is why the lowest of the low are very miserable. They're being abused from all angles by their employers, and the welfare officers probably aren't too happy with them because they're always claiming welfare to support their employer's minimal budget. And then people in the street are going to be looking at them and saying, you're a welfare worker and my taxes are going to support you. Well, in fact, that's what your taxes are supposed to do. Your taxes are supposed to bail out people who are in difficulty. So, yeah, and these people at the bottom of the ladder are really suffering. And I've totally lost track of where I was going, but I think I was talking about why people are so miserable, and why they attack each other. Yes, because even a little bit higher up, you get the same misery being heaped on the lowest end, and it's generally the lowest end that manages to save up money to or deal drugs or whatever in order to get themselves whatever gun they can to shoot up whatever, and very often they buy them black market. But the whole problem is, the reason people want to shoot each other up is because they're unhappy. They're miserable. We as society are failing them. Society is failing them. We are failing them. I am failing them. You are failing them. And if you go to a slop shop and you get yourself a cup of coffee, you should smile at the people serving you and say thank you. And even if you can't slip them in a little bit extra, just to ease them through their day, at least be nice to them. It's not their fault that the ice cream machine is broken. It's not their fault that the machinery to make whatever you want isn't working. It's not their fault. And don't take it out on them. Now, I have worked at a very low level. I'm not at a low level. I'm quite way up there now. But I don't do fast food. I do something totally different. and I actually have several. Never mind about that. Several reasons I'm actually quite reasonably off and quite happy. So what we need to do, we need to take a good long look at why people are miserable and do our best to make sure they're not miserable. And that includes, don't buy anything at these minimum wage outfits. We want those places to go under. Yes, it'll be a shock and unpleasant for all the minimum wage staff that work there, but on the other hand, once that nasty place is gone, they should be able to get themselves something better, or programs at least put into place where they can improve themselves and get a better job. Now, as example, I trained in computing. I should be now making $200,000 a year as a programmer. Well, when I graduated in Britain, there were more people looking for programming jobs than there were jobs. So that meant then that I was kind of on the garbage pile. So I had to do other things. And of course, by the time everything had improved enough that there were vacancies, they were all looking for brand new graduates who had just graduated, just got their knowledge. So yeah, look after people, be nice to them. And this has been me, Zafel Beaverbrooks, the British Tech Guru.